This is Mike with AskTractorMike.com. I'm speaking again in our second video about safety with Robert Schultheis, who is an extension safety specialist with the University of Missouri Extension Service. And Robert, we talked in our last video about tractor rollover. If a person's moving out to the country, never been around equipment, never been around a rural setting, what other dangers are there beside tractor rollover?
Well, one of those has to do with the age of the equipment. A lot of times when you're just getting started farming, or if it's a small operation, you may not be able to afford some of the new equipment. And so if you maybe find a good deal on a piece of used equipment, you really need to check it out and make sure that it's going to be as safe as it needs to be. If it's got worn out tires and they're really slick, it's not going to do the job that you want it to do, and it's going to create a hazard for you getting on, particularly when we get on some of the slopes that we have here in the Ozarks. And so if you have a tractor that's got a narrow front end or a tricycle gear to where the front wheels are narrow and not spread out, that's going to be a major overturn hazard. Just flat out avoid buying a tractor like that, because it's going to be a problem for you.
And I have some gas tractor folks that watch my channel, and they get on to me for not recommending gas tractors. And of course, all your tricycle tractors are gas tractors. But if you know what you're doing, a tricycle front tractor is okay. But if it's your first tractor and you have no dad there to guide you, I'm with you. I don't think you ought to go that way.
Yeah, and speed is a big factor on those too. That if you make a quick turn with one of those tractors and you're going very fast, you're going to roll it. And they don't have roll bars for the most part on those. Now, what's interesting about this is you can buy a roll bar for a lot of these older tractors. They do make retrofit roll bars for them. And people will look at that and say, well, okay, I bought this tractor for $1,500, and why would I want to spend $1,500 for a roll bar? Well, what are you trying to protect? You're trying to protect the person on it. We don't care about that tractor. If we destroy the tractor, but we save the person with a $1,500 roll bar, that's a very good insurance investment.
And I'm going to say something right here. I get questions about that from time to time. I worked in the equipment business for 25 years. I've quoted a lot of roll bars. People call and say how much to get a roll bar for my tractor. I've never sold one. When you look at the price, and most of them I think are made in California, and the freight's almost as much as the roll bar, and people just say I can't afford it, and I get that. There are a few cost share programs that are out there, I think, to retrofit. Do you know anything about them?
There are some in the northeastern states right now, and I think they're moving up into the upper plains. What it would do is it would provide some cost share assistance to farmers who need to put a roll bar on the tractor and add a seat belt. And there's actually a website that you can go to that I believe it's University of Kentucky maintains. You plug in the make and model of your tractor, and it will tell you what roll bar will fit on that tractor, or whether one is out there that can be made to fit. We do not recommend that people go home and start manufacturing their own in their own shop, because there are certain stress points on all these tractors where things are designed to be bolted to, and you can guarantee that they're going to hold up. But if you start cobbling up something that you hope will protect you in a rollover situation, you may find that it's just a false sense of security. It makes you feel better, but it's still going to crush and roll when the tractor rolls.
Now, one thing you mentioned about older tractors, and I'm thinking about 8N Fords, and there's a million 8 and 9N Fords still out running. The way the PTO works on those, it's tied into the transmission. You need an overrunning clutch. One of the big things I hear is I came up to the end of the field, pushed the clutch in, and the inertia of the cutter pushed me.
Yeah, and that can be a hazard too, in just trying to get everything to slow down on time when if you're pulling out and you hit a pile of rocks or something like that, or there's a stump in the field and you think, hey, I'm going to avoid this, and you don't push the clutch in time and let everything wind down, you may have a problem.
And there is a device called an overrunning clutch that lessens the effect of that, and that's one you can fix pretty easily.
Yeah, and if you look back, there are owner's manuals for a lot of this stuff. It's maybe a little harder to find some of the really old stuff online, but I've been amazed at how easy it is to get access to some of those PDF files on the web for equipment that maybe you you bought a tractor and you don't have an owner's manual for it, but you may be able to get one.
And what other dangers are we looking at? PTO entanglement, I know, has got to be one. And I see a lot of people that have open U-joints that are out spinning, and we don't want that.
Some of these tractors, they've got a master shield that sits over top of the PTO shaft. And if that gets banged up for some reason or gets bent, a lot of people just take it off and throw it behind the shed. And no, it needs to be there. It's there for protection. It's not actually there as a step to get on the tractor either. Any PTO shaft that's hooked to it to power a piece of equipment needs to have a shield on the outside that spins freely independent of the shaft. And you can tell if it's going to do that by just walking up to that shaft when everything's stopped and see if that plastic shield will rotate. If it doesn't rotate independent of the shaft, the plastic bearings inside need to be replaced, because don't just remove it, because now you've exposed the U-joints, you've caught a lot of, or created a lot of catch areas for people that might have, if you've got any loose ties on your clothing, even the strap that holds or the tie that holds your hood on your sweatshirt. If you catch that around there, you're gonna take a ride that you won't like. And use an example. We actually did a demonstration of this where we ran a dummy through a brush hog around the PTO shaft, and I instructed the driver of the tractor to start up the mower and get it up to speed, and then we caught the dummy in the shaft, and I told the operator, shut this down the second you see that pulled in. And it was 4 seconds before it wound down, and that dummy went around that shaft 36 times.
Anytime you're working on anything around the tractor, always turn the tractor off. And fueling the tractor, turn it off. Disconnecting your implement from the tractor, turn it off. It doesn't take long. Honestly, the new tractors are much safer. A lot of the folks watching my channel are buying a newer tractor, and they're really in less danger. But even a brand new tractor right off the truck, you can get in trouble. So we just want everybody to be safe.
Yeah, and with those new tractors too, again, look at the owner's manual, see what those safety features are. I always encourage folks to take those manuals in when the season's over and park them next to the easy chair in the living room, and so if you get bored watching TV, pick up the manual and read the darn thing, because you're going to find some things about you'll just go, wow, I didn't know we had this feature on this tractor. I'm going to have to try this out in the next season,
Absolutely. I survive on web traffic. I'd be honored if you'd subscribe to my YouTube channel and like my Facebook page and share this video with other tractor enthusiasts. And if you have questions or comments, put them down below. We'll try to answer them. Thanks for watching.